Hey everyone, happy Saturday. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Man, I tell you, the Carolina Hurricanes, New York Islanders are in action right now. This is 1-1 in the second period. I really had a lot of faith in the Islanders coming out again in that first period, being able to find the back of Frederik Andersen's net. They were unable to do so. We went into the second period with the Canes up 1-0, and the Islanders then scored. Looking at this matchup, I really do think the Carolina Hurricanes can get the sweep. Shots on goal, we've had Carolina have 14 shots on goal for the New York Islanders. It is Varlamov's birthday, though, in net for the Isles today. He's turning, I believe, 36 today. So we got a minute 48 left in the first period. I see all your guys' comments. Thank you so much for being here. Live lines on this game right now. It's playing. If I scream at my TV, and I tell you, I took the sweep today, but I would love to see the Islanders extend it. Live lines, the Carolina Hurricanes are -170, +132 for the Isles. Total 4.5 at -113. This 4.5 is kind of testy here. I do think the Carolina Hurricanes do their best to lock down on the defensive side of things in the third period. I can see them getting that goal, though, and if the Carolina Hurricanes allow the Islanders tied up, we're going to go over that total. So I would take it over before I took it under at 4.5 at -113. Those empty netter situations are going to be huge here. The Islanders will pull their goaltending no matter what. We won't see that out of the Carolina Hurricanes because they are up 3-0 in this series, but you're going to see Patrick Roy pull Varlamov in the third period to make sure that they try to close this one out and get the win. So I would look at the over 4.5 at -113. Obviously, something happened. My TV is probably behind because FanDuel has locked up these lines. I know it's the Canes pushing right now. That's what I'm seeing. So maybe, just maybe they scored or the Islanders were able to clear it out of the zone and the period is over. So you guys don't tell me. Don't tell me what happened. I know. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I see all of your messages coming in. Happy Saturday. Yeah, if you guys can hit that notification button, I would really appreciate it. Let's make some freaking money today. Now, I lost the bet in the first period of the Islanders to be able to score that goal. Really expected them to be able to score that goal, but plenty of opportunities to make some freaking money out there on the ice. Yes, this game is done the first period. These guys are going to start fighting here in the first period, that's for sure. You're on the Islanders in the 60 minutes at +230. Solid bet there. Backs against the wall. You know this Islanders team has to come to play. And you're riding, Doug, the Florida Panthers statement game -1 at +195. I like it. But I do think, man, the Carolina Hurricanes, I think, have the best opportunity of sweeping between the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. I look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this team has been so phenomenally solid on the season. Their power play during the regular season was so strong. Now, we're seeing them struggle on that kill versus the Florida Panthers. We're seeing the Florida Panthers really control the pace of this game and the puck movement out there. So Tampa has to bring everything they got. Tampa, veteran team with their backs against the wall with Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, such a dangerous team out there that I can't bet against the Tampa Bay Lightning today. They're +104 on the money line, and that's where my money is going to go. I think they find a way to be able to win this. Now, total of 6.5. Juice to the under at -128 to the over at +102. If this one is a Lightning win, I expect it to go over that total because we know the Florida Panthers, they want to get the sweep. They want to finish off this series. They want to have rest going into round 2 of the series. So I do expect here for this one to go over that 6.5 at +102, but I'm also expecting overtime. The overtime bet in this matchup between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers is +350. Live lines on the Carolina Hurricanes and the Islanders going into the third period. You do have a total of 4.5. Like I said, I expect those empty netters to come in this game. So I would be terrified taking the under 4.5 because I think Carolina probably comes out and does what Carolina does best and scores quick in this game on Varlamov. puts it to a 2-1 game. We then have the Islanders find a way to tie it up, and then that pushes it to overtime, 2-2 apiece to overtime, gets us that extra goal, gives us 5 goals. So I would take the over. It's at -108. As far as the side, you can now get the Carolina Hurricanes at a great price on the money line. They're only -125 live line on that money line, and -102 for the Islanders. You guys don't want to back the Islanders here, but I just don't see a way for them to be able to get the win with how strong Carolina is. Carolina wants to finish this thing out. Okay, back to the Lightning game and the Florida Panthers. So I am riding the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line. This team is looking to not be swept here. The Florida Panthers won game 1. That was a 3-2 win for them. They won game 2 in overtime, 3-2 in game 3, 5-2. I do think even with Sam Bennett, they were phenomenally strong, even without him, that last game. Now, Sam Reinhart has been playing phenomenal. Matthew Tkachuk had 2 goals in the last game. The overtime bet here is +350. If you're looking at the Lightning, who I'm trusting, I'm going to have to take Nikita Kucherov for the 2+ points. We know those assists have come for him. He hasn't been able to find the back of the net yet. This is a player that led the league in points on the season. I expect Nikita Kucherov to show up big time in this do or die situation. If they lose tonight, they're going home to their families and going on vacation. Yes, there couldn't be a worse thing to do than go home and go on vacation. But I do think they want to make it out of this first round. They definitely don't want to be swept. So I would look at the Lightning to come out strong. Nikita Kucherov, 2+ points at +112. Steven Stamkos has been able to score a goal in all 3 of the games thus far, even though the Lightning have lost. So Steven Stamkos at +165 for the anytime goal, I think, is in play as well. Andre Vasilevskiy, I'm expecting a big day out of him. He needs to get that protection from his defense, but he also needs to stand tall in net. We know Andre Vasilevskiy can bring it at any given time. So I am looking for the Lightning to pull it off. Verhaeghe for his shots on goal. Verhaeghe has been phenomenally strong out there on the ice. That is for sure. Lundell got moved to the second unit with Verhaeghe and Chuck. So, yeah, I would definitely, with him on the second unit, I would look at Lundell here to be able to come out strong. I would look at his points as well. It's interesting because when you go down to a player like him for his points, you're going to get value at 1+ points. And I do think that is in the cards today. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. Okay. Let's look at the next couple of games here. We got the Boston Bruins taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. This series, the Bruins are up 2-1. Now, the Bruins, I don't understand why Swayman he's so phenomenally hot. Just start him every single game. I really do believe they're going to go back to Allmark here. And because they're going back to Allmark, I'm going back to the Leafs being able to get the win. Now, the Leafs with William Nylander back in the equation today will have success. I'm expecting them to come out nice and strong with Nylander. They struggled to score on the power play, but with William Nylander back on those top power play lines, I'm expecting success out there in the Bruins not to be able to kill those penalties as strongly. So current lines on this one, the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's jumped all the way up to -130. It was -120 earlier in the day. So hopefully you read my mind and got those early lines. The Boston Bruins at +108. I tell you, it's so tempting with Boston at +108 to jump on them, but I do think Toronto is the right side in this one. I think this series goes to game 5. In Boston, tied 5-5 apiece. I always expected this series to go deep, to go to 7. So we are on track of going to 7 as long as Toronto can tie it up. Now, Samsonov has been hot and cold in this series so far. He's come out with some good games and some weaker games. The pucks he's let in, some of those that he's been able to save have been extremely high danger. And then other ones that he's letting in, you just would have expected anyone to be able to save them. So kind of confusing there what we're going to get out of Samsonov, but I do think the Toronto Maple Leafs can hit Allmark if it is Allmark in net for Boston tonight. And with how they've been alternating goaltenders, that's who we're expected to see. Now, I don't agree with it. I really do think Swayman is the right call, but to each their own. That total of 5.5, -134 to the over and +110 to the under. I'm looking for an explosive first period. I think that first period goes over the total of 1.5. That's coming in at -116. I also am looking at Pastrnak for the anytime goal. Now, he wasn't able to get the goal in the last game for us because we took Boston's team total to the over and Pastrnak for the anytime goal in that parlay. The team total came in and cashed nicely as the Bruins did win the last game 4-2, but we weren't able to get Pastrnak for that anytime goal. Pastrnak tonight for the anytime goal is plus 115. Now, when we look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews has 3 points in the last 3 games. So I'm expecting him to be strong in this one. I would look at Matthews out here to be able to record those points. But I've also got John Tavares circled here. He is on that line with William Nylander and Tyler Bertuzzi. We know Tyler Bertuzzi has been strong in the playoffs too. So John Tavares for 2+ points at plus 190, I think has so much value out here. I'm expecting a lot out of Tavares. So it's one of the most efficient lines in the whole NHL. Lindholm, Tavares, and Bertuzzi. So I love what we see out of them. I'm going to take him for the 2+ points at plus 190. And then the first period over 1.5, you guys at minus 116. And then I got to go back to Pastrnak for the anytime goal at plus 115. So, but I think the Leafs can tie up the series. Minus 130 is a little juicy for me to want to hit on them, but I do think they get it done. You wish. Let me see the last comments. Pastrnak puck line, or Panthers puck line, barbecue ribs. Southern thing. Okay, you enjoy that. That's for sure. How many goals does Reinhart have? I would have to, Neil, I'd have to actually look up how many goals Sam Reinhart has. I know he was able to score the first goal in that first game out there. I believe he's got another 2, so don't quote me on it. I believe Sam Reinhart has 3 goals. Now, he's been phenomenally strong over the season on the power play, getting those power play goals. I'm not seeing those bets as much, the power play points for a lot of these players. But I would look at him for that power play point if you're getting that within range. I know Zach Hyman is leading right now with 6 goals in 6 goals so far in the playoffs here. So Zach Hyman is the leader, but I'm not sure exactly how many Reinhart has. Little pizza money on the game to go to overtime. Which game is that? Oh, yeah, the Bruins and the Leafs. I would look at that one to go to overtime too. I really do have a strong feeling on that overtime. I love that you threw that out because I forgot to mention it. These 2 teams are going to be so competitive. We know the Bruins have had Toronto's number, but I do think with Toronto facing Allmark versus Swayman, they can find a way to get a win. Toronto is going to fight. Yeah, they absolutely are. Tight games for sure. Montgomery on crack, not starting Swayman. Yeah, I completely agree. I understand he's done this for 30 games now, 32 games, but I really do think Swayman is the recipe for success. So if they go back to game 5, that will be Swayman. And then I think Boston gets the win. Game 6 will be Allmark. And then I think Toronto gets the win. Game 7, well, it lines up to get Swayman, and I had this series to go all the way to 7. So could I complain too much if I end up hitting that bet? I guess I can't. Can you bet on hockey fights? No. I wish you could bet on hockey fights. This is what I want to bet on, the amount of scraps out there. These teams are so chippy. I saw a stat, 333 hits have happened out there on the ice between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So these teams are going to come out of this series, especially if it goes all the way to 7, so beat up out there, being so physical on the ice. Those injuries are going to come. The penalties are going to come. You can look at those power play goals to come in as well. It's going to be crazy. Ryan Reeves over on his hits. What is his hits coming in at for Ryan Reeves? I would take anyone over on their hits. That is for sure. Okay, let's look at the Dallas Stars versus the Vegas Golden Knights. For me, it's stick a pin in Dallas. Dallas not being able to win either of their 2 games at home on their own ice is a recipe for disaster. I think now Vegas has the ability of getting the sweep. You guys know I was riding on Dallas. I did think they had the ability. Jake Ottinger hasn't showed up like I've needed him to. He only faced 15 shots in that last game. The Dallas Stars defensively have been locking down. They've been really limiting those shots on him. I don't know, you guys. I can't see Dallas finding a way in the Fortress, especially after not winning at home. Looking at the lines on this one, minus 106 for the Vegas Golden Knights, minus 113 for the Dallas Stars. Vegas keeps being an underdog. They keep underestimating it. It keeps making me want to say they're begging me to take Vegas. They're begging me to take Vegas at minus 106 here. it's kicked me in the butt going against what I think Vegas, as in the sports books, are trying to make me bet and taking the opposite in the last 2 games. The Dallas Stars haven't been it. And Vegas has been an underdog, or the Vegas Golden Knights have been an underdog in both matchups. Now they're at home. They're an underdog. They've won their last 2. I understand Dallas has been phenomenally strong. They were able to have the most points in the Western Conference. This is a team that I had a lot of faith in. Looking at them in those last 2 games versus Vegas, I can't put my money on the Dallas Stars. They would need to really step up. Jake Ottinger would need to step up. Jason Robinson, Rupe Hintz, all of their playmakers would need to come 110% today versus Vegas. And Vegas, each and every single game, is getting stronger, is getting better. Mark Stone back in this lineup, Jack Eichel. There's so many playmakers. There's no way I can't take Vegas tonight. So I know I've jumped up the ship with Dallas. If Dallas is able to win tonight, I'm going to be shaking my head. But I do think this series is Vegas's now to lose. They have every opportunity of winning it, and I do think they bring it. And now I know we've seen Dallas in previous playoff years lose that first game and come back strong. Was what I saw out of them in the last game. I just can't trust them. Now, a live total of 5.5 right now for this game to go over is -130. I'm going to stay off that. I really do think it probably goes over that total. We hit 6 goals, 4-2 style game, but I don't like the juice. So this will be a live bet when that juice drops down. Now, Logan Thompson for his save shots on goal tonight is coming in at 25.5, -108 to the over. I will be playing on that. Logan Thompson has been phenomenally strong. Dallas had 28 shots on goal in the first game, and they had 21 shots on goal in the second. While I do believe in the defense here of Vegas, I do think in this game, Dallas is desperate. They know they can't go down 3-0 or 0-3. So I think we see those shots. I think we see them coming rapidly and fast, especially in that third period if they're in a game where they're down. So I would take Logan Thompson over 25.5. 25.5 seems so light, right? -108 to the over, but I understand. I understand why they're making it light. Yeah, and they have absolutely had the Stars number. So this is going to be a game where I think Vegas just continues to roll. Stars need the win, but I cannot get there not to get a point. I hate betting players not to get a point. Every time they touch the puck, I freak out. Don't lose faith yet. In who? Who am I not losing faith in? The Dallas Stars. The faith is gone. You know, Jake Ottinger is not looking like the goaltender. And I was talking about it with Cam Stewart when I was doing Gabe Morency's and Cam's show, Sports Rage. But Jake Ottinger just not looking like himself, like we remember from the playoffs a couple of years ago versus Calgary, where he was just absolutely unstoppable in the net. We're not seeing that out there. But you guys, I am going live on In-Game Live. I actually don't know who the hosts are. That is terrible of me to say. I will be up there in the next 20 minutes, so come over and join me on In-Game Live with the guys over there. I also am live tonight with Scott Wetzel from 7 to 10. We're going to be talking everything. Make sure you jump over to my X. Comment who you think is a winner and who's a loser in the draft so far. Yes, talking NFL. We're going to be talking about that tonight on In-Game Live Primetime. So I want to get your thoughts on who's won so far and who's lost so far with their picks. I know lots of people really not liking what Minnesota has done. Lots of people actually liking what my Chargers have done. Joe Alt, I wasn't a big fan of picking him up. I wanted Brock Bowers, and the Raiders got him. So kind of frustration with that, but at least we're not the Buffalo Bills who, well, they gave Kansas City Worthy, who is going to just be so worthy of taking another playoff series from them. So anyway, you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Head on over to my X, enter what you think on their winners, losers. We're going to be talking about all the teams that you guys bring up and mention and discussing that. So tune in, and then all the In-Game Live stuff tonight. UFC card, Gianni the Greek will be joining us too tonight. We got a great lineup. So head on over. Join me on SportsGrid later tonight, you guys. Thank you so much. Turn on those notifications so you know when we're going live tomorrow. Bye, you guys. Bears and Eagles. Bears winners, You got my Keenan Allen. I tell you, yeah, the Eagles, they added cornerbacks, which is phenomenal to see. That secondary should be stronger, Mark. I like where you're going with that. The Steelers for the win. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here every single day. I appreciate you so very much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.